Okay, stay right there. I kind of bounced off. Hopefully you can see me. You got a lot of energy tonight, and I shouldn't be off air. All right, let's get this going. We're going to hold on just a second. Okay, we're not broadcasting. I tell you, carrying a lot of chi this evening. We just got knocked off there, so we're gonna get this in two parts. We're gonna keep going. But as I was saying, um, it's like this is get this a little higher. This is celestite, right? Now, if celestite was artificial, it wouldn't give off a glistening effect from the inside out. Stones usually radiate from the inside out, and also you'll see stuff like this on the back of the stone. Oh, I gotta go this way. On the back of the stone, as you can see, you can readily tell because if it's artificial, it's not going to have the glistening effect from the inside to the outside. You're not going to catch that. Okay, so things are going to with a man-made stone. You're not going to. Man-made stone has a little bit of dullness to it. There's some natural gemstones sometimes that have a little dullness to it, but you can feel the energy. Now, sometimes you might feel a coolness or warmness, but you can't really determine that. If I were you, I'd bring a I'd bring a pendulum in there. If I were you, I'd bring a pendulum with you into the store. Then you pull out your pendulum, and you can double check the energy, and you'll know good, bad, indifferent. So you'll be able to check the energy. So as I was stating, you want to be able to place stones so that they are get them between the feet as well as getting them going up. So you can have a series of stones. I'll give you a line with an arrow on both ends. You can get a series of stones going between the legs, between that root point there at the bottom, that point that's right there. Get this high. That point that's right here, and then goes straight up. You see, and then connect with the person's root chakra. As you lay the stones out in these various positions, you more or less keep a single line pattern. You can also place your gemstones on the outside, like you want to outline the body. You can do that as well. That means you gotta have a lot of stones. They don't necessarily have to be big stones. They can be small stones, but you can definitely train them around the body like an outline form. You can put the gems, stones in somebody's hands. Usually, sometimes I might use a smaller piece. Sometimes I might use a larger piece. Okay. Other times, again, like if you're working around someone's navel or like the heart center, let's say I use the top of my T-shirt here, which right about here is the heart. You can lay one at the top, one at the bottom, but you put always what they call a keynote stone. So if you're working at each one of the chakras, you lay down a keynote stone. It could be a smaller stone, about as big as your thumbnail if you want, okay, or the first joint of your thumbnail. You can lay the stone right in the center of the chest, and then just follow the pattern. You say to yourself, you're going top, bottom, right, left, and all other placements in between. But you're only doing it according to the vibration that the crystal is giving off with the individual. This way, you're not overwhelming the person. neither are you overwhelming yourself. So you're creating this vibration so the person is more relaxed as you go in. And when you're putting the gems on an individual, you got to remember you're working layer by layer. So if you're very, as I said, we're sentient and vibrational beings. So, of course, hopefully you meditated beforehand before the person got there. You connected with your ancestors, your spirit guides, and so forth before they got there. Now, you're also going to connect with that person's spiritual forces around them. They're your totem guides and their totem. Everybody works together. The tribe of spirits around you, the tribe of spirits and angels around them are working with yours. So when you're laying these stones on, you're getting a lot of high chi energy to work with. And so you want to take your time. You don't want to put too many stones on a person's body because you could kind of take them out on a trip that they don't want to be on right now, you know, or you might have to go out there and kind of pull them back in. So what you want to do is you want to lay these gemstones onto the person's body with the keynote gem first. So I'm going to use the outside of this just to represent the keynote gem. Okay, and this is like the same for the dots that you see on the body, right? So the keynote gem could be round, or it might take on a different shape. It could be square, whatever you're feeling. You're going to pick up that stone and you're going to place it on any one of these points that you want to start with. Now, in most cases, if the person is having some problems around the second chakra, then you're working on the second chakra mainly. But you got to ground the body first. Okay, you got to ground the body because by grounding the physical for them, it allows you to step in and ground the emotional range energy for the person as well. Then you start selecting a stone, right? And you want this stone to fit within the area of the body. So you might put it, maybe they have problems down here in this part of their body, in that second chakra range. Okay, move this a little closer. In that second chakra range. So you want to make sure, that's the sacral, that you got enough gems to work there. And then you work your way up accordingly. If you're very sensitive to the vibrations of the person that you're working with, if you're very sensitive to the vibrations of the person that you're working with, you will be able to hear. Yeah. See, because you're working with sound too, you'll be able to hear the vibration coming through the person's body. This is why you need to develop various tools, because various tools are working on different layers. Let's say you got a person that says, okay, well, I don't like incense smoke. Well, it's not a matter of them liking the incense smoke or the sage, because you would take care of that before they get there. But you can use tone. Maybe you've got a music CD that you like to play that's geared for Reiki, that's geared for Qigong work, that's geared for pranic healing work. And you play that in the background. So it's very subtle, and then you're working with the person. See, so music and sound are doing two things. What are the two things they're doing? They're creating a mask, so to speak, a shield, so that it cuts out any interruptive sounds that shouldn't be there that would be disturbing you or your client. Okay, so you're shifting the patterns of energy of sound in the room by using music in the room. Music could also work as a trance state as well, so the person could be in a very deep meditation because they trust you. So they go into a deep meditation, and next thing you know, they're in la la land, and now you're working on them. Then you wake them up, and you need to roll them over on their stomach, and then you can work on their back. You see, so grid patterns with crystals are highly important. Don't let anybody tell you that they're not, because they are. And what you're striving to do is, again, you're raising and cleansing and clearing vibrations. And sometimes people can tell you, can attest that I've done it with my mind, I've done it with my mind, I'm unable to do it. So you understand, if you understand how crystals work, you can energize a whole place by yourself. And if your energy gets real powerful, a person who's nowhere near where you live can see vibrations traveling to and from, to and from, to and from. So that lets you know that they said, man, I saw a light. I could see it around your apartment. I could see it around your house. But when I got to you and you opened the door, I could see it around you. And you're doing your work, you see, because you are amping up the vibration so people can see it and can feel it. Why? Because people like you are sentient beings, mean they can sense what is coming off of you, and you're showing them how to sense what is coming off of them, and then you're vibrating, which means what? Like this. The energy is going back and forth at whatever pace it's supposed to go. You're tuning into that. So when you want to ground the body, you use like black tourmaline. You can use smoky quartz. There's something where you could place it on the groin points of the person's body. And I'll just put for groin points. The groin points is where you like bend the leg. The groin points is where you bend the leg up. See those 2 points just by the square? Okay, I should number it 1 and 1 so you can see it. You see the numbers that look like ones? Those are the groin points on the body. So if you put a groin point there on the body, you lay something there like a smoky quartz, that will balance the body right in those zones. And then if you look at it, you're creating like what? A geometrical pattern. So you're working within that geometrical pattern. You could take like a citrine and place a citrine inside the navel or near the navel or on top of the navel. See? And you can work that. Remember I said if you have certain necklaces that are just designed for body grid work, you could lay a citrine necklace or a citrine bracelet right around the navel area, right? To calm and center it, and then you can work from that point. So there's so many things you can do. Now, you can get creative. You could think sort of like the chakra petals if you want. Or I say go with what your spirit, your higher self is telling you to do. Because after all, you're the one you're using your gemstones on that person's body, and you've got to be able to douse it. You have to be able to find it, the energy field, work with it, douse with it, and then bring it through. And this is very, very important. So when you're bringing the energy through a person's body, you're creating a sense of resourcefulness for that individual. And this is what you are seeking to do. You're seeking to bring greater peace, harmony, and happiness to the person, to your environment, to them and back, and from you to them at the same way. So this helps out to set this in motion. Place this energy so you're setting it in motion, going around the body. These patterns, I just selected that area, but these patterns can go further up. So let's say you're working around the solar plexus, so you can use more citrines, you can use clear quartz, you can use amethyst. Now, what you have to know about the quartz family stones are all purpose. The quartz is all purpose. And then you've got gypsum, which is selenite. That's all purpose too, but selenite is used in higher registers of the body. You can use the selenite at the heart, the throat, the third eye, the temples, the back of the head, the crown of the head, going up in the 14th, 15th, 16th ranges, going even higher. So you can use the selenite more at the top if you so choose. Blue stones. Place the blue stones at the throat chakra. Place the green stones at the throat chakra. In other words, blue and green will be the keynotes where they need to sit. And then you build around it, you see. Now, there's another thing you need to be aware of also, is that you got energy that's flowing out of the center of your palms and your fingertips. Now, when you're working on people, like I wear rings sometimes, it is good to take your rings off, unless your rings are carrying, a high vibrational level. Now, when I used to do back in New York, and I'm going to have some more rings designed or design them myself, I had healing energy rings and bracelets that I worked with, and I only used at that time. I didn't wear them out, to social events and things. They were specifically made when I was working on a person. So I might have wrist bracelets, finger ring bracelets, and they carried the gemstones with them so that the person could feel the energy. And sometimes I needed to point. So you might have some gems that are like this long, that you can place your hand around, place your thumb, and point into the body and point up and around in the field of energy, because you're just not working on the physical body, you're working on the etheric body, the emotional, the mental, and the various different planes in between. So let me repeat that. You're not just working on the physical body through the etheric body, because you're laying the gems on the outside, putting them in the etheric range, okay, so that you can then influence the physical body and therefore influence the emotional body and the mental body. So you got all these different layers and different zones around the person, and you have to be aware of that. So that's where you need to put the gems in your hand and point into different regions around and above the body to get the feeling. And that's when you can use pendulums for that too, to determine, okay, where on the body that I need to work more on. Okay, if you're sensitive enough through your hands, you could place your hands above the body and scan through your hands above the body. When you're doing that, you're picking up on energy, you see, by scanning. As you're scanning across the fields of energy, you can tell where to lay energy. Now, I can guarantee you there's already somebody who's done it from long ago, many, many people, where they will begin to send light rays back and forth above the body. Okay? And I've done it different ways, just setting up crystals at a different height on different tables or shelves and pointing them across, right? And actually sitting there before the person gets there and send that grid of light there. So when the person is seated or sitting down or laying down, they're feeling the grids or planes of energy above and outside the body, which is traveling through the etheric and the emotional and the mental body of the person. So there's a lot of things that you can do. You're not stuck at all. So I'm hearing, someone will watch this later and say, well, how would I use working with the throat chakra and or specifically the heart center? I want to open up my heart. I want to open up the client's heart. Well, you can use chrysocolla in there. You could use turquoise, the bluish green turquoise, up in the heart region, up in the chest. Okay. You can also use like a little bit of celestite up in there. You can use a tad of amethyst, sugilite. You can use that up there. You can use sodalite up in that region too. Even though sodalite can work very clearly through the third eye region, along with the amethyst can be placed there as well. But again, you experiment with this. Now, people say, well, why should you wait to experiment on the client? Well, find a close friend. Find a close friend and tell them you would like to let them experience a crystal layout. Now, when you're working with crystals, you can't go wrong, okay? There's no such thing as you're going to make a mistake. You can't. These things are planted there in the earth by higher beings, yourself, or the God conscious realm. So you're not going to make a mistake. You're not going to, in other words, you could put a black tourmaline over there by the throat chakra. You're not doing anything but stepping the energy down just a little bit. This tourmaline is a protective energy, and then reworking that energy on a completely different level. So you might want the person to be more grounded while they are speaking, and more centered while they speak through the heart center. So it's okay. There's no accident people wear hematite stones, okay, in a necklace form around the neck, as well as around their wrist or their ankle, or as a ring. So that means you're using that stone to generate a wealth of kindness, a wealth of gratitude and generosity, but also, excuse me, to enhance the magnetism on somebody's body. So you're going to use these stones to really boost yourself up. Excuse me. You want to boost up the energy field. This is very, very important. And here's something that comes to mind. When you're working on the body of a person, uh, again, a person might have you work on just a specific area, but again, you want to work with the entire energy field. Work with the. I used to go to a crystal friend of mine back east. He had one of these big, big, solid wooden tables, like out of oak and mahogany, and he would lay stuff up there and have me lay on it, even right down to a big old coffee table and lay on it. This coffee table could take up to 250 pounds. And lay on it, and then put all the gems and things on you at the same time. But you don't have to do that. But you want to lay grids around the body. And as I suggested, it's highly important to charge up the field of energy where you are working with the person. So you can lay miniature grids all over your office or healing room that set that vibration. Use your crystals to be higher or lower, or they could be suspended. That's also equally good as well. But you need to what? Put these things into motion so people can feel them. So you're working with the heart center, middle of the sternum. Chrysocolla is works well there. Chrysoprase works well there. Turquoise, like the sky blue kind of turquoise, and there's a teal kind of turquoise color that works there as well. You can also put the amethyst there, the clear quartz there, citrine if you need it, but just a tad, okay, to just you know activate that energy. And if you can get yourself to be more sensitive through your palms of your hands, if you can become more sensitive to the palms of your hand and the fingertips, because your heart center and your palm is right there in the middle, if you can become very sensitive yourself, then what will happen is that as you scan over the person's body, you will be able to determine what is needed there. Like, for instance, you might stand to the, doesn't matter which side of the body, but let's say you're working off that second chakra, you might place your hand over that palm and see where you need to work. Move it right or left, back and forth, and you kind of massage the area a little bit, and then the body begins to tell you, oh, this, you need to put something on the forearm of the person. And then you will tell them, I'm putting this gem on your forearm, using like a necklace, draping it over your forearm. Or I need to put them on by your shoulder. So you can use all these different ways. And if you place a nice flat kind of fluffy pillow on their head or behind their head, then you can lay gemstones in there as well. But you want to build out. You don't want to rush. You want to take your time. So again, if you ground the body first, and spirit will tell you how. Now you can ground the body with a black tourmaline, um, yeah, black tourmaline, and also the smoky quartz stones and hematite. You can place them all around a person's body if that's what you want to do. But then you have to even anchor that. So sometimes people keep two folds, I'm going to call it folds or areas, one closer to the body within an inch to a half an inch, and then they move it and double it out and double it out and double it out so that they get a nice prospect of energy flowing around the person's body. Then you can check it with your pendulum or your dowsing rod just to make sure that everything is fluid. Then you start grounding the body at the ground points more. You can do it through the wrists a little bit. Okay, if their palms down, you drape it over the back of the wrist. This will help ground the person. They'll feel more safe and secure. You can also use it at the shoulder points, just behind the shoulders, to keep the shoulders down. Okay, you can put it by what would be considered the base of the head. Okay, so that on the outside, the right and left, you can place gemstones in the center for it. The whole idea is build the pattern in a gentle way. Don't try to rush and like, well, I got to do two areas at the same time because you can confuse the energy, and then you kind of get it entangled like a rope. Kind of get it entangled because now you got energy going all over the place. Now you want to establish it. Now I also saw a vision hit quickly in my head that you could bring these grounding stones all the way up to the pelvis area around the root chakra, inside portions of the legs, outside portions just beyond the heels. You can do the same thing. Okay, and then from that point up, covering up from the groin points, going a little higher, covering the navel, then you can work with some lighter gemstones. You can use just a little bit of amethyst, but you can start flowing a little bit more with like a to be safe, a clear quartz and a citrine in that area on both sides of the body. So you can work it all the way up. You can get the fingers, you can get the hands, the forearms, the shoulders. You can just do so much. Now, if you have the person laying face down on the bed, if the person is laying face down on the bed, then you could put, some gems along the neck, okay, and that would help the person equally. So these are just different ways, and that's just one way of being concerned about laying down grid patterns. Again, prepare yourself. Get yourself prepared first, okay? Then prepare your entire house. Prepare your entire house. Then your healing room that you're going to work with. And you build it from there, build it from there, build it from there. Use some sounds. Find some CD audios that give you music for Reiki, for yoga, for Qigong, Tai Chi practices, pranic healing, any form of healing. Let this just work. Now, you don't want to work where the sound is too subliminal because then the person is seeking. You don't want them out of the body traveling along, and here you are working on them, and then you don't know whether they're in the body or out of the body. So you want to create some sounds, keep it very low, so that you can connect with the person. So the whole idea is about in the connecting with people. That's highly, highly important. Now, what we're going to do is, because what I was giving you is a sample here, so you can kind of see what to do. Again, just play it safe. Now, I'm going to give you some books that you can find on Amazon.com. Look for Crystal Enlightenment. Crystal Enlightenment. And it comes in two volumes, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And the person's name at the time was Katrina, Katrina, Katrina Raphael. Raphael should be her last name. But if you go to Amazon.com, all you got to do is just look up Crystal Enlightenment, Volume 1, Volume 2. And she had some beautiful books written back then with very beautiful grid patterns so that you could see how to develop the grid patterns. A lot of this stuff, though, once you know what you know, it becomes an intuitive process for yourself, and then you could journal it. I use such and such and such and such and such and such around a person. Excuse me. Some people have actually taken pictures. They've told their clients, when I'm doing crystal healing work, I would like to take a picture of where the various placements were, so that they could keep a mindset of what they were doing with the energy with that individual. Now, people, when they're working with crystals, um, it is good to know as much as you can. Know as much as you can about the gemstone. But the most important thing you want to do is establish a rapport with it because it's a living energy field. So you want to establish a rapport with all of your gemstones. So that way you can hear and express and move them around because you become like a surgeon with the crystals. So you're knowing where to place them, where to move more crystals up on the top of the body as opposed to the lower part of the body. To create going through the diaphragm, something that, the diaphragm holds in place, the vital organs going up into the body, like your lungs, the heart, pancreas, all of that. So you want to, be aware of that. You can create that kind of energy too, going across the body. But I would say kind of keep it so that whether it's single or double terminated, going up and down through the body, through the zones. That's very, very important. Just relax. Now, if you're someone who studies root foot reflexology or hand reflexology, you gain an advantage. If you're studying acupuncture, you gain an advantage because then you get to see where the bladder points, stomach points, lung points, okay, prostate, testicles, where all those points are throughout the body, and then place a gemstone there to help balance the body. So you want to create that for yourself, the ability to spot something, root it, center it, and open it up for cleansing, and then restore the energy. So that's something that you want to make yourself truly aware of and begin to work with that energy field more and more. Now, if you're popping in and out, it's because I got a lot of high energy, and one of my guides is from old has been downloading a lot of energy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch us over. I'm going to switch us over to I'm going to switch us over to understanding a little bit here uh, about, and we should know, and this is very important. Um, Before I even step into that, you can work with candles by colors, uh, oils, the same oils you can dress the candle with, you can use for incense. So if you're doing some body work with someone, you should use something like lavender, jasmine, incense, and oils. You should use also a lot of blues and greens around in your vicinity so that you could pull on the energy in your remembrance. Also, the person could see a great deal of calmness in their body for themselves. You can also then again work on different tones of the body. Also, um, I told you jazz, but I got like white rose, incense, things like that. That's for conditioning self love. You can use sandalwood to calm the mind, okay, and calm the body at the same time. So that's good for you to utilize. Again, excuse me, you want to bring as many layers into your work as possible because that's essential for the well-being of the person that's there and for your well-being and for the entire environment because you want to treat the entire environment organically, you see. Okay, so now what I want you to have an awareness, we're going to go over this, in the coming weeks so that you can, begin to experiment. And maybe I won't use the word experiment and see as a scientist so you can create your own crystal formulas that you're going to work with. Now, sometimes people anoint the crystals and gemstones and rocks as well. So that's, another way of, again, working things in layers. Now, what's astral travel, or they call it astral projection? That's the ability that can be acquired through lifting your etheric body with the other bodies out of your physical body, and grow in the awareness that your physical body, grow in the awareness that your physical body is still present in a chair or in a recliner or on a bed, and the rest of you is out of your body. Now, when you're working along the lines of astral or soul travel, as it's often called, or out of body experiences, you want to again make preparation. You want to ground the body. You want to be relaxed. You want to set the environment up so there's no disturbance, external disturbance, so that you can work everything together. Also, at the same time as you're working everything together, you want to create a balance across the board for yourself. Okay, and then you want to make sure your shoes aren't tight. So maybe you take your shoes off and you're in your socks, or you're barefoot, or you loosen the belt on your pants or on your trousers, or you wear sweatpants or shorts. You can wear bathing trunks if you want. Make sure your t-shirts are light on yourself. You're not wearing anything that's heavy. Take your glasses off. That's good too. I've left my rings on, no problem. I left my watches on, no problem. But sometimes it's best to take them off. Okay. Then you get into some deep breathing, and it should be rhythmic and slow. But when we start to practice out of body experiences or the astral traveling experiences, what you want to be able to do is you want to practice the short journeys first, or the short things first. What would be the short thing first? Short thing first would be like if you're laying prone, or you're in a recliner that doesn't lay all the way back, it lays up just enough where you have about 130 degrees or so, 135 degrees from where the pelvis area is to lean back, okay, and being parallel with the ground. So what you want to be able to do is you want to be able to relax through your deep breathing into your posture. Then you want to gradually lift your body. Now the first thing you want to lift is maybe just an arm and a hand, and you may have to flex it. Now you may have to, now this doesn't always happen overnight, so you take your time, but you flex your hands and feet, and then your desire is whether your eyes closed or half closed, tuning into your third eye, you want to envision seeing the hand and the arm kind of separate from the physical. Now, usually when you're working with something in that capacity, is you will find that that you'll have to do it over and over. All right, so repetition is very, very important, and you also are going to have to be able to work the energy uh, not only repetitively but at the same time in the same location. When you do that, that sets up a vibration. Remember, you're a vibrational being, so the pattern, the frequency starts to move at a certain rate. So, and you pick the same time of day if at all possible. So let's say that you have a chance to do this at night, uh, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night. That's the time that you designate to work, whether it's every night or every Thursday. That's when you practice it. So you want to be able to work on yourself step by step, raising the hand away from the other hand, the hand, wrist up to the elbow, then eventually further out of the body and back. Then doing the same with the other side of the body. The other thing you might want to consider doing is sitting in a chair and placing a chair opposite yourself. And first, you envision seeing yourself opposite yourself, just from where you're seated. You can see an outline form of yourself. Then you see it kind of filling. Then you see it kind of fade out. Then you do it. You see yourself lifting up out of the body, standing, walking across, and sitting down in the body across from you, letting all the energy settle back into the body, feet and hands. Now, when you're doing this, there is a slight tingling sensation to some people. It's a rapid tingling sensation to other people. They feel like they get some high anxiety that goes with it, but you shouldn't get that. You should um, continue to work with deep breathing because that's essential to your well-being in these patterns of exercises. So you're breathing deep, you're relaxing into it. Maybe you're establishing like a rocking sensation, right to left, forward and back, or it's a spiraling sensation. But you're taking your time. No matter what you do, you are taking your time. And as you do this, taking your time, you will find that the energy will begin to flow back and forth, and then you feel the rhythmic flow of the earth. As you feel the rhythmic flow of the earth, that allows you to get deeper and begin to trance into it, I would say. The deeper you get now, your body will warm up a little bit. But if whenever you attempt to do out of body experiences, you will have to, like in the beginning, maybe place something over the body because some people can get so deep, even in meditation, the body gets cold. Doesn't mean they're out of the body too long. It just dropped the temperature of the body. Blood pressure got dropped a little bit. The brain wave level got dropped even lower. And now everything is running in sync to each other. So then what happens is eventually you trigger it. And you find yourself standing up, turning around, and seeing your physical body. But that's something you would have to practice also, standing up, turning around, and seeing your physical body. Once you kind of get comfortable with that, then the next thing is move around within the space where this is being conducted. Then outside the space, maybe the living room, maybe you see something there, sort of like remote viewing, using your body, you see something at a distance going on. You're able to project your mind there and to travel into that region. When you project your mind and travel into that region, you'll find yourself in a much better situation. So what do I mean by that? There's no need for you to have any fear about anything because you're connected to the divine, right? So as you start projecting yourself out into these fields or realms of energy around you, you're going with a sense of control. First control is yourself. Next is just control the energy so it's not overwhelming you. Know that it's very important that you go with consistency and be persistent, but to be patient. Because for some, this can happen 80, 90, 120 days. To others, might happen right away. Now, there's some things all people need to have around themselves when you're doing astral travel, out of body experiences. And I'm going to get back to why you want to do it and certain things you don't want to do with out of body experiences. But one of the things is people always have some water around. Why? Because the throat and the mouth gets dry, tongue gets dry, and the saliva kind of feels like it dries up, and in your saliva is the chi. So you energize some water and then sip on some water just as you come out, and should be within about 5 minutes after you're out, or 10 minutes, meaning back in the body, but out of the session itself. It's also a good time to write down your thoughts and feelings. That's highly important, and then date it. And if you don't know, just describe it as the best to your ability, because then you can come back later and check it out for yourself. Okay. Also, people have eaten something sweet like dark chocolate, just a little bit, so that they know they're home. Okay. People have had room temperature water, you know, energized spring water, mineral water. People have had coffee, herbal tea, just something to let the body know that they're back. Okay, and all your senses are in place, so to speak. I advise you not to eat something that's syrupy sweet because that could, get into your system a little too much and amp you up, and then now you're like the rooster with the head cut off. You're just running all over the place. You can't sleep. And sometimes when people come back from out of body experiences, some people are highly energized, and other people know they just need to go to sleep. They gotta sleep, gotta take a nap. Okay, now here I'm going to give you the don'ts first. When you have acquired this ability to astral travel, and it's going to get stronger and clearer and better as you go. First thing is you don't show up unannounced at somebody's locale, at somebody's home, at somebody's job. You don't just show up last minute. Okay. You respect their privacy. So if you got some friends, or maybe you got a neighbor who aggravates you or something, well, you don't use it to attack the neighbor either. Use it for life-saving purposes, or for getting information that's needed, in your spiritual and metaphysical or occult work. Okay. You don't want to, in other words, you don't want to abuse the talent or skill or gift to do this. You want to be thankful that you have it, and you know how to intelligently and divinely use it. Also, get in touch with your intuitive nature, because the higher your skill is, the higher the intuitive nature should be, even higher than that, so you can discern what you're picking up around you at all times. So if you're going to do some astral travel, excuse me, we want to do this astral travel with a purpose. You just don't want to be aimlessly doing it. Just like driving a car, if you're out there aimlessly driving a car around, then you have an accident. That's not something you need. So drive with purpose. Drive your body with purpose. As you are driving your physical body with purpose to your destination, because that's highly important for you, you might pick a place at first. So what would be an ideal place to pick? It should be a place that you're familiar with. Maybe your property is big enough or small enough. Pick a spot that you want to go to and thoroughly feel it and see it in your mind's eye, the third eye. Feel it, sense it through your body. Now, in the beginning, people say, well, I may not be able to see, let's say, a tree on my property with a stone or a rock. So here's what you do. You go out to that spot that you're looking at, the spot where you want to retain the memory. After you absorb it, gaze upon it, see it, and feel it, then go back inside or sit outside wherever you can. Start to vibe with it, get in touch with it, breathe with it and through it, and eventually you feel the vibration jump. You'll feel it move through your body. You'll feel the connection. Then you will mentally project, or astral travel. Come out. Astral travel means getting outside of the belt of the universe and so forth, and being in the galaxy. That's when people talk about astral travel. When they clear it up and call it out of body experience, then you're like moving in localities that you're accustomed to, where you can project yourself and allow yourself to see. Embrace what you're seeing, or even hearing, sense, feel it. Come back and jot down your notes, then go to the Pacific area where you were focusing on as your target. And keep building it up, and then change the target. Keep building up, and then change that target. Keep building up, and now you might decide to go, well, I'm going to project myself to the other side of the city. And this time I'm going to pick some people that I know. But before you do that, you might suggest you give them a call and say, if they're on the same level with you, give them a call and go, hey, and practice some, out of body experiences. So if you see me in your area, don't be alarmed. Okay, I'm just passing through. You can do that. People have used out of body experiences to save the lives of others. When they sense something that's going on, maybe they got a phone call, or maybe they just sensed it, period, and project themselves to wherever that person is. A strong way to be able to do that is to evolve yourself through unconditional love and compassion for others. This way, you will always do the right thing with these abilities. And you will not do anything that disrupts or creates an imbalance physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually for anyone. This is important. You want to do this astral traveling so that you can see what you need to see, experience what you need to experience, and create a complementary uh, sense of resources for yourself. You could go to places you've never seen before. You may have heard about them, but you've never seen them before through out of body experiences. And if it's your link to wherever you're going is strong enough, which creates a bridge, you'll be able to go, see, feel, taste everything, and come back to report it and to record it in your book. So I'm going to give you an assignment. I want you to look up Astral, Astral, travel, astral travel, or astral traveling, sometimes called out of body experiences. Acronym is OOBE, or soul travel, SOULTRAVELLING, or TATRAVELING. But you want to get the root. You check things. If you know how to use the pendulum, you can check if you actually were there or not. But you're heightening your awareness. That's the most important thing. You're heightening your awareness so that you're feeling greater and greater and greater things all at the same time. And that you're growing. So you might travel to ancient lands. You might go through time chambers and things of that nature to have those experiences. To be involved on a greater level. Maybe there's a spirit guide that's around you. And you want to travel to wherever he or her is, or that androgynous form is. You want to have those experiences. You can have them in meditation. You can have them during a dream state, while you're asleep, or while you're wide awake, because you can feel it. People have used these things to bring back information, not only for themselves, but to educate others. So some people have gone into what they call quote unquote future, see the future, and then bring the future back here, what they've learned from the future, which could mean making some changes here. All of these things are essential to your well being. All these things are essential to your well being. So, astral travel, do a little homework. And your other homework is understanding grid patterns. There's a gentleman also by the name of Richard Simmons, Simmons. His gemstones have been quite expensive, but they're also rare quality. He has a store up in Montpelier. Yeah, Montpelier, Montpelier, Vermont. And you can spell that right, Vermont, Vermont, and it's called Heaven and Earth. And Richard Simmons is a guy who talks about all what they call the new millennium gemstones, go all the way back down to the root stones. And this is good. There's another book called Stones of the Ages, or Stone of the Age, and you can delve into that as well. The more you know, the merrier you shall be. Why? Because you're going to walk around the face of the earth and everything is going to be talking to you. This is why you need to get into crystals and to study as many crystals as possible. People ask, well, how do we cleanse them? Depending on the nature of the stone. Now, if it's selenite, don't stick it in water. If it's malachite, don't stick it in water because it takes a long time to dry. And when it dries, it flakes. It flakes around the house, your selenite. We call these like seeds that drop off. Now, if you happen to pick up one and the water is trapped, don't break it open to take it out. Leave it alone. It's there for a reason. So this gentleman, he has massive books, on gemstones, and he has a catalog. You can go on the website, fill in your name and address, and they send you a free catalog. And he sells the gems by the necklaces, right? And he sells them in thinking rings and earrings in there, but he has them polished and rough stones. So he has all the stones you'd want to get. And if you don't use him, you can use his book as a resource. And then when you go to various gem and mineral shows of your own, you'll be able to then better pick, you see, because now you kind of know what they look like. So this is essential to get this information and work with this information. And again, I'm going to work on this next week. I will have it really more stipulated out, but I just wanted to throw something out there for you. Again, if you are a healer, I don't care if you're doing chiropractic work, massage work, Reiki work, Jo Ray, pranic healing, you need to prepare yourself for these healing sessions with your clients or at a distance or with your students. You need to prepare your entire apartment in your home. Maybe you're bringing them in your home. You need to prepare your entire healing room. Then prepare the premises, the whole thing. Why? Because you're setting up this vibration and it acts like an antenna. Acts like an antenna, so you're sending out this energy and people can feel it. People who are sensitive enough, sentient enough, can feel what's going on around you. So this is good to know. Learn how to cleanse them. You can cleanse them through water, but you can cleanse them through incense. Cleanse the stone. They're of the earth, so at some point they did get rained on. It took them a while to dry out. Sometimes you can collect rocks from locations, and you always ask permission through the earth to receive a regular rock, not yet a gemstone, and bring it home. This sets off a certain vibration. And what people do is they sometimes just bring them home. I say bring them home and do what my spiritual sister does. Wash them, rinse them off, right? To get rid of the sediment and vibrations that it has collected. Then dry them out in the sun and then bring them into your home or leave them out into the sun. Again, you want to set up a vibration so that it is a healing force. As these changes occur on the planet, people moving from the third, skipping through the fourth into the fifth dimensional range, where they speak their word and everything comes in, and many of us are experiencing it right now. What you want to do is this: you want to stay grounded through the soles of your feet and through your tailbone, energetically, etherically, and you want to be centered through your heart chakra. Centered through your heart chakra. And when you do that, that puts you in greater contact with the universe around you so you can see and feel everything. This is, again, essential to your well being, so you want to be able to see these vibrations. You want to be able to see where they're coming from. And you want to see how you could serve the energy. Now, if you have a partner, mate at home, you could practice on each other using crystal energy work, and you could practice using astral travel. Why? Because one person, and you could take turns, you have the one person could go. Like, you can use astral travel and go into past lives if you want, or future lands, and anything you want. But you use it, the other person acts as a monitor. So in other words, they can sense while you're breathing, how you're breathing. They sit there and they monitor and they check energies around you. You make sure that the body is balanced at all times. There's no interruption. And if you're cognizant enough, in other words, if you could know just how deep your energy can go and you have more consciousness, then you will be able to uh, describe what you are experiencing. The other person can take notes or have some digital recorders around and record you. This is also very, very important for your development. And then, let's say on another night, is the other person's turn. Now, sometimes these out of body experiences can feel like 6 and 7 hours of time. It is really cut in half, 3 hours, 2 hours, 90 minutes of time. You can develop a longer sensation of being outside your body. All right, so I'm going to close down the show. This will be up there in two parts. We had that first part of about, I believe, 16 minutes and it broke off. And then we have this second part here, which is about 53 minutes. So you still almost caught 70 minutes here, 75 minutes of time. So we'll see it in the archives over at YouTube in another hour or two. You'll see the archives in YouTube, and people will be able to download them if you so choose. In the near future, as soon as I get some things a little bit more settled, in the near future, I'm going to create some DVDs so that people can, get the material even faster. I'm just looking for some basic digital personalities to work with me, and we're going to create some mini DVDs so that you can get all this information in one session, so to speak. I'm working on some brand new PDFs. I think I'm going to start with how to read and scan the aura. So I'm going to have some different diagrams set up so that people could, get the information, and I'll be able to put it into the PDF form. I don't know how long it's going to be, but the PDF will sell for $27 just like the others do. And I'm also going to talk about briefly in PDF form the art of pendulums, which is the art of dowsing with the pendulum. So I'm going to talk about that. And pendulums are excellent because when you're using pendulums, it allows you to become more intuitive, more psychic, more empathic, more sensitive to environment. So this is very good to use right now, as it has been in the past. And then I'm going to step into some more. So I have a whole list. I've just been pretty busy setting some other things into motion. Um, but this will be good for all of us to share and get this information out. Also, I used to be on Periscope. I'm getting ready to shut down a Periscope. Don't have too much time to be there. As soon as I can take care of that, hopefully it'll be deactivated. But you again right here every Thursday. You'll be able to connect with me here. Every Wednesday I'll be on Blog Talk Radio, and hopefully in the near future I can extend the Blog Talk Radio show from half hour to 45 minutes. Who knows? Or maybe an hour. So I want to make sure we get this information out. I'm always looking for other platforms to be on. So you never know. I might develop a third one that I go on. But I'm definitely going to use all of these. I used to do a lot of things broadcasting in the evenings. So I'm not sure if I'm going to broadcast in the evenings or not yet. I'm just going to kind of leave it where it is. But I will at some point do some special edition shows. Special edition shows so you get all this information. So, what else I need to tell you? Let me just come to mind. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody who diligently comes in here and listens and shares the same experience I share. I'm off with this electrical biomagnetic energy. Uh, my spirit guide Akhenaten has been downloading into me like something fierce here. Uh, so I'm going to put some of that information one day, uh, when it's right, put that information into a PDF format so people can really begin to understand how to use these tools. And again, this is, there are many different takes on how to utilize the tools. There's no right way, and there's no wrong way. So if someone tells you this is wrong, it may be wrong for them, but it's not necessarily wrong for you. So you should definitely investigate it, okay, and make sure it's comfortable with yourself. So study a great deal on crystals, okay. Study a great deal on sound healing. That's using the Tibetan bowl, the crystal quartz bowls, and tuning forks. Work with chakra energy. That's very, very important. Work with dreams, out of body, which is the astral traveler. Okay, mental projection. It's time for us to like kick these keys into place for ourselves. And if I can remember, and I think I will, which I might put it into a PDF form, which I think I'll save that for. Because that could be a little too advanced right now, but I'm going to put it into a special PDF form, how to utilize this stuff and how to like move in and out of your body on very subtle ways so you can see if your body is healthy or not. So I got some other techniques and I'm going to develop them. I wanted to have these other 5 to 6 PDFs ready by the end of November, but we're not going to make it now. But we're putting them out. As we get them out, you'll get them, you'll be able to receive them. All right, thank you for coming to the Circle of Grace One with myself, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. I'm the founder of the Circle of Grace One, founded on July 2nd, 1999 AD, under the aegis and the anointing of the Angel of Grace through divine providence. He gave birth to his very own spiritual and metaphysical institute, which has 5 different layers, but we've broken it down since then, and it's called the Circle of Divine Grace and Remembrance. It came into being on February the 7th, 2009 AD. I am the host, chief principal teacher, and founder of both, Brother Francis E. Revels-Bey. Now that institute had 5 different levels to it, and what you get in the PDFs are like a shorter version of what's there. So I may go back into it later and really begin to expand the tarot, and how to, you can do journeys through the tarot, things of that nature. Those of you who have maybe bought some of the PDFs, you'll probably pick up some of that information. But we're really going to expand this so that there'll be a whole PDF in addition to the tarot cards. A whole extra section on numerology will come into being, and you'll be able to get all of this so that you can enjoy it. And hopefully, I will also create some MP3 sounds, bit pieces for you as well, so you can just get those by email, kick back, and save it for yourself, and really get this information. We're going to keep it so the price is relative for you. This way, you might want to buy a whole bunch of these for other people. Who knows? You might want to share them. And if you are a metaphysical teacher, I can give you a discount as well, on selling a lot of my works and using them in your classes. Well, my grace is your grace. If you need to be in touch with me, you can reach me at iam.circleofgrace1 at yahoo.com, or iam at circleofgrace1 at gmail.com. You can go to my website at circleofgrace with the number 1 at the end, dot by region, BYREGION.net. That's my website. You can check. I got some updated articles there. I got a few updated sound bites up there that you can listen to. And they only last about 4 to 5 minutes. So this way you can just hear that information. Um, and if you want to leave me a message, you can Skype me. I have a direct Skype number, which is 505-349-4722. If you want to hear an all-purpose decree and meditation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, why don't you call 505-717-4722. That's 505-717-4722. That 4722 begins to spell the word grace, Grac. If I could put another digit on it, it would be an E. So, until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. Thank you so much. See you real soon. And also, I'm on Twitter, but if you go to my website, you'll see all the links right there that you can try out all these other things I have as well. Thank you so much. God bless you. I love you unconditionally. May you be the best that you can be. May you be blessed so that you can bless others. All right. So it is.